by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Great Bend Panthers Thursday afternoon swept the Garden City Buffaloes in a doubleheader, and in doing so, wound up as the Western Athletic Conference champions. Not only that, they go through the WAC undefeated.
I couldn't be more proud of these young ladies for that accomplishment. You know, we felt like last year we knew we had a really great team, and we kind of let the pressure get to us a little bit, and we let it slip away. And this year, you know, the girls came out and made a statement, and they played extremely well today, and they earned it.
I'm anxious, but in a good way. I tell the girls this, that I've genuinely never been more confident in a group than I am right in this moment. Hopefully it works out in our favor, and if it doesn't, I know we're going to go down fighting, clawing, whatever we have to do.
Junior hits it well, deep into the right field corner. Meisner turns, get on for a two-run home run. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, it was huge. Just everyone did their part, everyone did their job, and Lugo did his job, and then everyone else did their job, so it was great. Yeah, just looking to kind of be on time and just kind of let him provide the power, and then just kind of put the barrel on the ball and see what else happens.
Just buy into the culture, work my tail off every day, and just go to sleep and do the same thing over again. That's all I can do. This team has a tradition and culture of winning and being the best. So if I just do my job and work my tail off, I feel like I can help a little bit more.
Been very noticeable. McKinnon sends it in front, loose puck, slammed away by the Stars. They threw it into their own net.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Welcome in the Friday Sports Day show. Steve Webster with you, along with executive producer Landon Winkler, who reached a milestone earlier this morning, and our guest co-host Garrett Fitzpatrick.
How are we doing today?
Getting ready for the Mets and Cardinals
Mets
tonight.
and Cardinals series. Hey, I want to make a shout out to you too, though. You know, when you listen on the radio, you just hear all this people jabbering and talk, you know, and having all good times. But you guys have a lot of work to do in here, don't you? You have a lot of buttons to push, a lot of prep work. You know, when you're out there just listening, I don't think you realize all the behind-the-scenes stuff on the radio. So hats off.
Well, thank you, because what happens is sometimes it goes awry.
And that never happens in the rec work field. No.
So
never happens in the banking or restaurant business, you know.
No, they never screw up.
But no, seriously, shout out to you guys. You guys got a lot of work to do back here that people don't see. You got buttons to push, and you got all kinds of recordings with certain times and cuts. And, okay, I better be quiet because you got a big show today now.
I certainly do. On the show today, KVGB track and field insider Mike Corson's going to come in, probably around 1:15 or so.
That wasn't the big show I was talking about.
Okay, so there's always things that go on, right? So Bill Faflick, I knew Bill when I was in Wichita, and Bill was then the athletic director for the Wichita City League.
Okay.
So I worked with Bill for 7 years, so it's easy to call him up and, hey, can you come on the show Friday? Because they had some changes last week. He said, yeah, sure. When do you want me? Well, could you make 1 o'clock Thursday happen? He said, oh, yeah, sure. Okay, that's on my schedule. Okay, well, call me then. Well, about Tuesday, I realized that there's a Royals game that day. So I got back a hold of Bill. He said, no, Friday, man, I'm not going to be able to do that. So we just recorded it yesterday. So I have, this is really good. Bill Faflick, Executive Director of the Kansas State High School Activities Association, because next year, last week, the Executive Board made some changes, state volleyball, basketball formats, some adjustments to football for classifications, 8-man and 6-man football. So I thought, well, I'll throw one more out there and ask him about club volleyball at MAYB, basketball, and all these extracurricular activities that go on outside of KSHA. So that was about 4 or 5 minutes. And then I asked him about NIL in high school. And I didn't know that there's already a process in place for this. It's very, very interesting. So we'll get to Bill Faflick coming up, and then Mike Corson and Landon Winkler today. He's moving up the poll. He didn't host Trading Post, but he was a co-host.
Oh.
As we push him further out of his comfortable nest.
And
you knocked it out of the park.
Well, unfortunately for everyone else, I'm going to be the main co-host of it on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Wee! 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 Fly, my friend, fly. You're going to do outstanding.
Ratings are going up.
Yep, exactly. Did people have kind things to say to you today?
They didn't really, I guess, notice I was there. I think I was just extra flavoring, I suppose.
What are those people that when the house landed in The Wizard of Oz, what were those little, the munchkins?
Munchkins.
That's the way the people are with Traded. They get a new host in there and they don't come out. They're kind of, you once they feel comfortable with, then they come out of the bushes and like that. So you're going to do great. Okay, let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours or so. Randy Gehring had the call yesterday on B1043 The Point. Lady Panthers go to Garden City. They needed to win one game. And boy, did they win it. 16-4 in the first game. And then just for fun, might as well sweep them. They won 9-3. And they're Western Athletic Conference softball champions. That was
congratulations. You bet.
And they do it undefeated, 12-0. And now we look at seedings in the West. They're 18-4. There's some good records at the top of 5A in softball. So they are right on that bubble with Great Bend Sports Complex, Great Bend Rec.
Right.
Could be close.
Wonder if they bought a trailer to carry the brooms with all season.
You put that in your bat bag, can't you?
Yeah, there's probably room on the floor in the bus, yeah. Just big brooms.
Sweep them out. So Carrie Minton talking about winning the crown at 12-0. Proud of her team, obviously. So Great Bend, 18-4. Baseball will try to continue their quest. Maybe to win the WAC, probably not. But right now, they will host Dodge City today, doubleheader at the Sports Complex. Panthers 14-4 on the season. They get to 16-4. Currently, they're already third in the West.
Is it third? Okay.
Yep.
Third, fourth, somewhere right there, yeah.
So they've got a good chance of hosting a regional. So that's going to be a 4 o'clock start today out at the Sports Complex. Softball yesterday, interesting result. TMP had been undefeated. They beat Hayes High 13-11, but Hayes High handed TMP their first loss of the season yesterday in softball, 6-3.
That's nice. They share, keep that Hayes High. All the girls can get along now. They just split. We're all equal.
Everything's equal. Okay, you mentioned those baseball standings. Man, Hayes hosted Liberal yesterday. I mean, Hayes is 9-1 in league. The Panthers are 6-2. So, but there's no one else out there.
No.
So they're in the driver's seat. They had to rally. They were behind Liberal.
I never did.
4 runs and then rallied back to win it 10-5, and then won the second game 4-1. So hats off, I guess, to Liberal for making something happen. Hayes is home today for one game against Garden City, but again, showing you anything can happen.
Right.
Carson DeBow, she feels very good and confident about her team. They open play at Legends Park in Dodge City today. They take on Colby in the first round of the Region 6 tournament. Barton is a 3 seed, but they were right in the hunt for the conference title all year long until the final weekend. 32-14, most wins in 5 seasons. And again, meeting a Colby team today who's 30-25 overall. Barton took all 4 games between these teams this year, but I think the most lopsided game they had was like 6-1. Everything else was decided by 3 runs or less. So they were close games this year. Good luck to Carson DeBose and the Lady Cougars today. Barton Baseball Cougars, they will close the regular season today. Non-conference doubleheader at Coffeyville as those 2 teams split on Wednesday. Barton will try to get a little momentum heading into next week. Best of 3 first-round series from the number 8 seed in the East. Barton winning the West. And best 2 out of 3, and then the winners go on to Wichita for the Region 6 tournament. So good luck to Brent Biggs and the Cougars. The Surging Royals. Bobby Witt Jr., if you're going to extend your hitting streak 22 games, might as well hit a home run, right?
Might as well.
Ryan Lefevre, and Rex Hudler, who got goosebumps after that opposite field. Oh, what? Okay, Catherine Mazouk had that yesterday. I didn't really pay any attention. That's an Oppo.
Oppo taco.
An Oppo taco?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
There you go.
Well, Bobby Witt Jr. went Oppo. So the Royals. They won 8. They scored 8 runs. Ninth win in 10 games. Bobby Witt Jr. talking about the hitting streak. Good to see the team hit like that. Talking about the ball he hit. Well, he just throws it hard. I just put a swing on
Swing and hit it.
Let the swing and the velocity do the rest. Royals will open a 3-game series with the Orioles. Tonight, we'll have it for you starting at 5:30 on KVGB.
I got a little Bobby Witt segment here for you. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Only-
Can I do this here real quick?
You wanna finish?
No, go ahead.
This
go
is
ahead.
Bobby Witt. I'll fit into your
Okay,
topic
all right.
there. All right.
You're fitting in well to this. You know.
Only 4
You're like
players in-
Landon right now.
in my wings.
Yeah.
I'm a pterodactyl, but I got long arms. All right. Only 4 players in Major League history have matched Bobby Witt Jr.'s combination of home runs, 84, stolen bases, 119 through 500 games. These are pretty nice people to be accompanied with. Yeah, Barry Bonds, Eric Davis, and Alfonso Serrano.
And you know the best thing about all this is, he's locked up for another 7, 8
He's
years.
impressive. I'm not a big Royals fan, but he's fun to watch. Him and Salvi.
Again, one of them things, if your children, make sure you see and know what they're watching in your basement, because they could be watching like Cole Rife. He was down there sneaking in Duke games growing up, and look what happened to him.
I'm just a
And now
baseball
you're down
fan.
there.
I'm a baseball fan, but I am a loyal Met fan.
Again, you're watching stuff in the basement you're not supposed to be watching. You become a
I
loyal.
am in the basement, yeah.
Because you go back to Doc Gooden days.
Oh,
right?
that's my man. Him and Darryl Strawberry, that's the reason I'm a Mets fan. I met Doc a few years ago. A little bit disappointed, to be honest with you. It wasn't as...
Who was the golly? I'm a Cardinal fan. I can't even remember this now. Usually I can remember things from a long time ago.
I got another...
The hook that the Cardinal reliever threw to Beltran to win the NLCS.
I got another baseball trivia if you want it real quick or not. Do you?
Yeah,
No?
please.
Okay. All right. Jose Ramirez, third baseman for the Cleveland Guardians, what have you. He makes history also. He's the first primary third baseman in Major League history to accomplish the feat of 250 home runs and 250 stolen bases.
Who is that?
Jose Ramirez. Ramirez for the Cleveland.
He's a stud.
He's one of the underrated baseball
Oh, you
players
never
playing.
think of him.
No, you don't. And to go off that, let's see, we go to the list. Hojo Howard Johnson, a Mets player. 228 home runs, 231 stolen bases in 1,500 games. And the George Brett, everyone, 317 home runs, 201 stolen bases, but he did it in 2,700 some games.
Howard Johnson. How do we forget about? Didn't he
He
strike
was the
out a
first
lot, though?
30-30 guy in Major League Baseball, I think.
The first?
I think he was. I think so.
Really?
I'll have to go back. I'll look at that, but I think so. But no, Jose Ramirez is one of the most underrated baseball players there are. He's fun to watch.
Okay. Big news today.
Breaking news?
Yeah, because younger daughter, or Stephanie brought Bo Gregory Yeka into the world last week. So
nice. Congratulations.
We've been babysitting the dog.
Okay.
Oh, we can bring Ember back whenever. Guess it's time to put that pooper scooper back up for a while. All right, good news here today.
Good
also, congratulations, Great Bend Lady Panthers swim team. They won their own invitational yesterday by 1 point. And when you know, it's not like a 3-2 game. It was a 369-368 game, or invitational. Hayes was third, 361. That's going to be a fun WAC swim meet coming up in a little over a week. So you can see all the results right now at greatbendpost.com. Since I gabbed a lot with Bill Faflick, I don't want to. Oh, did I go? I didn't go through the rest of the highlights, did I? Oh,
I threw you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Let's see. Josh Simmons He's ready to go. He sounded like this is the way Garrett Fitzpatrick gets up every morning.
Just buy into the culture, work my tail off every day, and just go to sleep and do the same thing over again. That's all I can do. This team has a tradition and culture of winning and being the best. So if I just do my job and work my tail off, I feel like I can help a little bit more.
Coming to Kansas City. And the final cut, Nathan McKinnon of the Avalanche got credit for a go-ahead goal with 10:56 remaining after the puck bounced off the shoulder of a Dallas player, and the Avalanche stave off elimination, rallying to beat the Stars 7-4 in Game 6. First-round playoff series heads to Dallas for Game 7 on Saturday. There you go. Any words of wisdom, oh wise one, before you...
I'm not into hockey. Not into hockey. I can't help you there. Sorry.
Well, come on over Saturday night. I'll be out on the patio watching that
Saturday
game.
night.
Nothing better than a Game 7 in the NHL playoffs. Woo-hoo! Okay, and then that woo-hoo threw me off. Okay, let's see. Tigers dropped their game yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
That's probably going to sew it up, probably, for Central Missouri.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though. The MIAA baseball tournament, like the softball, is single elimination.
So
and the more I've thought about that, I like it.
Yeah.
Because, man, those double elimination tournaments, man, you lose your first game, and then if you can go and outscore people like 20-19, things like that, guys, you don't have any pitching left.
Yeah. Can NBA go to single elimination?
Oh, please. Exactly.
Tiger, that was a tough loss yesterday. But, like I say, if they can get the first 1 or 2 seed, they'll get a bye game. Am I right? You're kind of looking at me like in the tournament?
Yes, you are correct.
Right, okay.
You are correct.
Okay, just want to make sure there.
First round bye if they can hang on
which
to
is
second.
big, you can say that one pitcher.
Rogers State, Claremore, Oklahoma. You ever been to Claremore?
I have not.
I'll tell you sometime.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my part-time things I did for a while, selling burial insurance in Oklahoma, baby.
In the red dirt.
In the red dirt. You ever been to Northwest Tulsa?
No, I've never been to Tulsa.
Never started a conversation with a gentleman that said, sir, is that a bullet hole through your window? And yeah, they came by here last night.
You better hurry up and sign this insurance policy.
What a great time for me to stop by, sir. Bill Faflick coming up next. Kansas State High School Activities Association on Sports Day.
Your summer, your schedule. Earn college credit and tackle your gen eds with Barton Online anytime, anywhere. With 5 flexible summer sessions, you can stay on track and reach your goals on your schedule and budget. At just $160 per credit hour, Barton Online is an affordable way to stay ahead, catch up, or explore something new. Enrollment is open now. Secure your spot today at online.bartoncccc.edu.
Ready for a fresh start? This spring, Equity Bank is here to help you bloom into better banking with a $300 bonus. Receive $300 when you open a new Equity Bank checking account and use code FRESH, either in person or online. It's the perfect way to reset your routine and refresh your finances. Visit equitybank.com/fresh for full details and start your season strong. At Equity Bank, they never forget it's your money. Member FDIC.
It's another instant finalist day with Reef Blue Summer. You could win a Reef Blue 2025 Chevy Equinox. Become our next instant finalist today at Westside Market, UPS store, 5523 10th Street. There are a lot of great gift ideas at the Westside Market. Mother's Day is coming up, graduation. One of my favorite snacks are the Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. You can try the OG, cracked pepper, cheddar jalapeno, cinnamon churro, and more. Something else that's really cool, if you have all kinds of all caps stacked up around the house like I do, you'll love these awesome hat Snap Racks. Come check them out. And the artists of Sunflower have done it again. They've got these great children's aprons. Check those out. And don't forget about the UPS store portion too. They're a certified packing expert and can ship any package for you. They also offer secure mailbox and package acceptance services, document shredding, office and mailing supplies, faxing, scanning, printing, and more. Stop by Westside Market today before 5 o'clock and get registered in Reef Blue Summer, presented by Ealer Chevrolet, INA Alert, Equity Bank, and Kelly's Garden Sense. You could win it on August 15th. Good luck.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Sports Day also brought to you in part by the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend. Large or small, they take care of them all. The Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. And by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison. Well, my guest today is a gentleman I got to know in the early 2000s during my time in Wichita, and he joins us now. He was the athletic director for the Wichita School District, but now he's the executive director of the Kansas State High School Activities Association, Bill Faflick. That was a few years ago. How you doing, young man?
I'm doing just great, and boy, it seems like a long time ago, but it only seems like yesterday when I was back in Wichita and having the opportunity to work with the great folks there, and now I've got a great team around me, and I've learned about all the wonderful things happening in Kansas schools, and truly, from north to south, east to west, we've got great things happening in Kansas schools for Kansas kids.
Well, certainly, and I've always appreciated that you've been very accessible, and thanks for taking time to join us today. And not really a quick High School Activities Association civics lesson, because we're going to talk about some several changes the Acacia Legislative Board approved last week. Quick civics lesson on how things get passed in Kansas and the High School Activities Association, kind of what takes place.
You bet, and I appreciate that opportunity because it is not just what our staff want. We're an association of member schools, and our member schools direct the actions of this association, and our staff fulfill those requests and those adoptions. We have the two tiers of governing boards and an appeals board, but in terms of making decisions, we have an executive board, which serves to lead us through our championship tournaments, and that is their role. They are a subset of a much larger board of directors who govern the overarching eligibility and activity rules. That executive board is 12 or 13 leaders, principals, ADs, superintendents, and the board of directors is 75 members, also superintendents, principals, and ADs.
Okay, so this meeting took place last Thursday, and one of the things concerning football came out with 8-player and 6-player football. And talking about, because you hear a lot, well, gosh, they've got 30 kids out and they're playing 8-man football. Things change every year. But tell me about the changes that they made, maybe some specific numbers for 8-man, 6-man, things like that.
You bet. And certainly there was a lot of discussion, and that was a board of directors item. That board of directors has been following the challenges of maintaining a 6-player championship. As an association, we have adopted a rule that says you must have 24 schools participating in an activity to host a championship in that activity. 6-player had dipped below that 24 last year and looked like it was going to stay below 24, so we did not want to eliminate that. So the only way to make that possible was to raise the limit of the number of kids that could be enrolled in a school in order to have a 6-player team. Now, no school is told you must play 6-player if you have fewer now than that threshold of 65 students. It was 55. It bumped up to 65 students enrolled in grades 9, 10, and 11. But if you are fewer than 65 for the next cycle, which does not begin next year, but the following year, you can play 6-player football. you can still play 8 if you choose to do that, or you can still play 11 if you have enough kids and if that's what your school community, your local leadership wants to do. We also changed that. So we also changed the 8-player limit from 100 to 110 students. So more schools would have the opportunity to do 6-player and 8-player football with those higher thresholds, should they choose to make that decision at the local level.
If they do make that decision, Bill, that's a 2-year commitment then, right? I mean,
yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay. I love the 6-man format because, let's face it, it kept the lights on Friday nights in some of these towns. But 6-man really faced a big problem last year with forfeits and teams not playing for a month. And that was a big challenge facing Keisha as far as 6-man football goes.
Absolutely correct. There's nothing worse than being on a team and not having the opportunity to compete. And so we want to make sure that, with more schools participating, that will allow our districts to be filled and for teams to be able to compete. Sometimes we have some of our smaller schools still get a lot of kids out, and our larger schools sometimes struggle. So you've got to make the decision what's best for your school based upon how many kids you're going to get out and anticipate to get out. But it is, like you say, a 2-year commitment because other schools are counting on you to field the team on a given Friday night. And when you don't show up because you don't have enough kids, that's problematic on several fronts.
Bill Faflick, Executive Director of the Kansas State High School Activities Association, with us today on Sports Day. I wanted to ask you about the first year of having state football championship games at 3 sites. I want to start with Greensburg because I said that would be really cool. Greensburg's got a field that's marked for 8-man football. It's turf. And they've got plenty of bleachers there. They bring in more. How did it go, in your opinion, from Keisha, the first year of the state 8-man championship games in Greensburg?
Well, we played both 8 players and a 6-player game in Greensburg on Saturday, and it was a tremendous experience. What a great environment for our kids and our school communities. We did not have the weather cooperate, so we didn't have that huge jump in attendance that we thought we might. People came to watch their game. Some stayed to watch the game before or after, or stay after theirs was concluded. But on a more favorable day, we'll probably have much larger crowds that come and watch an entire day of football, or an entire 2 days at our 1, 2, and 3A in Hutch, or our 4, 5, and 6 in Emporium. All 3 sites did a tremendous job. Our managers are outstanding and do a great job hosting those. And when they're able to have multiple contests, they're able to support those with additional resources, and they really rose to the occasion and provided great experiences for our kids.
That was the first year they did that, but I'm old enough. I remember when they used to do it that way. So So the thinking behind going to just having for the larger classes, the 11-man football at just 2 sites, how did that go?
It was very well received. Great hosts, we said. I think the schools like that opportunity to come and to go to a town that is the championship town, and they were very excited for that opportunity. And again, really good facilities. Josh Gooch at Hutch does a wonderful job with 1, 2, and 3A, and the staff at Emporia State, the entire athletic department is part of that work at Emporia State, and that's the site that I went to and was there for all games, both Friday and Saturday, and they did a really, really nice job.
Okay, let's move to basketball because I guess the football, moving it to 3 different locations, that kind of sets the stage for next year, and basketball using 4 sites. And tell me the thinking behind that to move to fewer sites with more classes.
Right. Our membership told us several years ago, and actually 2.5 years ago, that they wanted to follow a formula similar to state track and field, where we have multiple championships at one venue, similar to volleyball, where you can generate some excitement and you can go to a venue and see kids that are in your class compete for a championship, but those that are not in your class. We do it in cross country, we do it in volleyball, we do it in track and field. But how can we do that in our team sports? Well, basketball is the most challenging because we do 14 championship tournaments, 7 boys tournaments and 7 girls tournaments. And we've always had 2 together. We've always had the same classification of boys and girls at the same same venue. But our schools also did not want to reduce the number of teams that go to the state tournament. So taking 8 is unique. Not every state does that. In fact, most states only take 4 to the state site. We're still going to take 8 qualifiers to the state tournament. We're going to break it into half, though. We're going to disconnect our quarterfinal rounds from our championship semifinals and our championship games. And we're going to play those quarterfinals earlier in the week, one day earlier. So instead of Wednesday, Thursday, those will be played on Tuesday and Wednesday. And we're going to go to sites that are not classification specific. So we're going to let the top 4 seeds who have earned that right to be a top 4 seed be closest to home. And we might have a 6A boys game followed by a 2A boys game, followed by a 3A girls game, followed by a 1A girls game, all at one venue. These are going to be quality sites. They're all at universities or college campuses or community centers, and they're outstanding facilities. And we'll play those games 3 to 5 games on Tuesday and 3 to 5 games on Wednesday. The winners, of course, qualify for the semifinals. They'll play respectively Thursday or Friday. And then our championship site will have 4 straight championship games on Saturday. Our semifinals and championships will be at our more traditional sites. It might vary from year to year, but for the next 4 years, we know that we're going to be able to put those championship games together on Saturday and have back-to-back basketball championships all under one roof at 3 different sites. And then, of course, with the odd number of classifications with 7, there'll be one site that will be a little bit more traditional and just have the boys and girls championship at that venue.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that, because I was wondering, because the year after, COVID, when you get the quarterfinals where the last game's played, they came back the next year, and the quarterfinals of the state tournament were played at home sites. And I thought, well, I understand why they did it, but you want the kids to experience, okay, we're in this arena. We know this is something special. I think those kids probably didn't get that year, but of course there were extenuating circumstances. So you're still wanting to do that at a good neutral location so they know, okay, this is a special game.
Absolutely correct. And the atmosphere sometimes at home sites when you're hosting one of those games is electric. By moving it closer to the higher seed, we believe that we're going to capture a lot of that energy and be able to provide that quality experience for kids on both sides of that ball. And I think it's going to be a tremendous environment. We'll go from those 7, 8, or 9 sites across the state, then back to our 4 traditional sites for basketball. And this will rotate every year because we've been using 7 different venues, and we're going to be down to 4 as we move forward.
Okay, so how late will you be able to determine these quarterfinal sites, or those will already be in place, and then it just depends on who's closer to those sites, who goes where? Is that how that will work?
That's correct. We'll have secured the sites and are in that process right now. Actually have MOUs for the majority of those in place already, but they won't know who is coming to their venue until the games on Friday night. The sub-state finals are completed on Friday night. That will populate the games on Tuesday. And then after the sub-state finals are completed on Saturday, that will populate the games and the venues that play on Wednesday. So there will be a couple of really long nights by our staff. We're used to that. But this adds another couple of wrinkles because not only with the assigning of the teams, there's an assignment of officials that go with that. And we take great value in what our schools tell us about officials, so we use their recommendations and try to assign officials that are appropriate for the class and for the game, and the teams are participating. So those are additional wrinkles that cannot be done in advance. The sites certainly are secured. The game times are secured. Just who is going to play in those venues is not going to be identified till the sub-state finals are all done for Friday and all done on Saturday.
Okay, and volleyball. Traditional 2-day format for state volleyball now is going to go across 3 days. Talk about the thinking behind that, Bill.
Well, if you've been to state volleyball, we've got the highest level of competition. Our volleyball excellence or quality is through the roof and in Kansas, and our coaches do such a good job with those. They're playing their semifinal, they're playing their pool play often at sites well into the night, after 10 o'clock, after 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
We finished after midnight in some years at some venues because we're doing 2 different classifications of pool play on the same day on the same court. We don't have 7 different venues to go to for volleyball that could house what we need to do. So we've been to 4 sites, and we are able to play those. Well, we're going to do 1 pool play on Thursday. They're going to have a day off and come back and play their championships on Saturday. That they can start later in the morning, not at the crack of dawn, and they will be done at a very reasonable time. The group that plays on Friday will also start at a reasonable time and be able to get done in time to go back for a football game or just to relax, have dinner, and be part of a team, have that team experience at that site, and then come play for a championship on Saturday afternoon. So they don't have that extra day. Those alternate from year to year. So you might be a Thursday, Saturday, or you might be a Friday, Saturday state volleyball tournament, depending upon the year. So we're excited about that because it takes those late nights out of there, and it eliminates that incredibly quick turnaround for the teams that play late into the night and then come back and play the next, just a few hours later that next day to play for the most important games of the year, the semifinals and the championship games.
Bill Faflick with us here on Sports Day, and I'm going to throw you a curveball here, so just hang with me. But we have there's plenty of summer there's summer softball, there's summer baseball, there's MAYB basketball, but then you throw in club volleyball that takes place the same time as high school basketball. What is the view from Keisha on club volleyball when you have kids that are trying to play basketball and then go on weekends and spending all this time playing volleyball? Is there any thought on that from Keisha?
Well, it's certainly been a topic, Steve, that's very, very timely for us to talk about. You'll see from the association a lot of information about student health and student wellness, and a new phrase that we've adopted after listening to our Sports Medicine Advisory Committee. Doctors from across the state, athletic trainers, administrators, school nurses, those healthcare professionals are seeing an uptick in overuse injuries and fatigue and burnout. Yeah. And so we've adopted the phrase less is more. And, every student that participates should spend, no more than an hour a week for their chronological age in practice or competition. So 12 or 13-year-old kids should have 12 or 13 hours of sports activity in a given week. A 15 or 16-year-old should have 15 or 16 hours a week of sports participation. More than that takes a toll on the body, and that's a cumulative toll. It adds up over the length of season after season after season. And not only that, there's an expectation there would be 2 to 3 months of non-competition. Yes, there may be training, but that's not that higher level of extreme exertion of competition. So you'll see more about that. I won't point the finger at club volleyball, but yes, it's a fairly new phenomenon in Kansas, and the onset of the massive number of summer basketball tournaments that are out there are certainly both in combination with baseball and softball activities that you and I probably grew up, and that's all we did in the summer. We played baseball.
Exactly.
And now I'm torn between weights and conditioning, volleyball practice, basketball practice, and then summer volleyball. On the guy's side, it might be weights and conditioning followed by basketball and 7-on-7, or some things that never have taken place before. Our kids have told us, and we're listening to our students through our student advisory team and others, that they're tired in the summer. Summer is maybe more fatiguing than being part of the school season. So we don't want our kids to be caught in a tug-of-war. We want them to not just have excellent experiences, but to be healthy and continue to improve. Have we seen kids that peak at the freshman and sophomore year? Yes, we do see that more than ever. And now their performance, instead of continuing to be that positive trajectory, end up spiraling downward because of they're tired. They're overtrained, and we also see some very specific sport specific muscular injuries, and that whole human development, taking that break and letting your arm recover is so important, letting your knees, your legs, whatever. The change in seasons takes care of that when you go from football to basketball to track and field, or from volleyball to wrestling to softball, because you're using different muscle groups for each one of those. So when you do something year-round, you've got to fight against fatigue. You've got to fight against and be wary of overuse.
Would those be recommendations only, Bill?
Yes, those are recommendations. We fully understand that we can point out best practice, but ultimately parents are the ones that are going to have to do that. I think schools can help support that by making sure that they don't get in a competition over time for students over the course of the summer. So I think we'll see more and more from that. Our Sports Medicine Advisory Committee would certainly like for those to be regulations, but as an association that believes in a lot of local leadership, we want to empower our school leaders with the knowledge that they need to help lead the programs the way they see best for their respective areas.
All right, Bill, I appreciate the time you spent today, but I'm hogging your time now because, I've got you on with me. So how much concern is there out there? I've seen a statement from NFHS. Are you guys preparing for this NIL stuff at the high school level?
Well, NIL is certainly an issue that has hit the college scene, and certainly, when stuff happens at the collegiate level, there's the trickle down to the high school level, and probably the gap between high school and college is bigger now than it ever has been before, when colleges have become much more about revenue generating. And high schools remain about education experiences and academic accountability and success and transformational experiences and teaching life lessons about accountability, collaboration, etc. So we're still amateurs, and our high school kids are still amateurs, and we have an amateur rule that has not changed. We have provided interpretations relative to NIL and feel like we're in a really, really good spot because kids truly by the name, image, and likeness, NIL, can use their name, can use their image, can use their likeness to go out and be influencers on social media. And we have no problem with that. They can do car ads. They can do restaurant ads. They can do those things as long as there's a separation from that student and their school. Not using the school name, not using the school uniform, not using school time, not using school records. That truly is the student's name, not the school name, the student's image, not the school mascot. So it is, if they have that recognition and that name brand on their own, that's absolutely fine. That's a job, and they've earned that. But they can't filter the athletic success or prowess into NIL and make dollars simply based upon athletic performance while they're still high school athletes.
Bill, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, and hopefully we'll hook up very soon. Thank you, Bill Faflick.
You bet. And next time we talk, I'd sure love to talk about the shot clock and about one of our newest activities, esports. And esports will be a championship this next year, and I think it's going to be a big hit for our schools that can connect a greater number of students that have not been in activities into the activity program, so they can benefit from being part of that team and remain accountable to earn that opportunity to represent their schools.
Okay, it's a date. Probably about a couple of weeks here, okay? I'll get back with you.
That's great.
Okay, Bill Faflick, Executive Director of the Kansas State High School Activities Association, with us on Sports
Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimse.com where you can schedule a free, no-obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
This is Hadley. Hadley, what's going on? I've been trying to call you for the past half hour.
Well, Papa, ever since you started this big sale, the phones have been like crazy.
That's a good thing, Hadley. And didn't I ask you to name the sale?
I did. It's a sale. It's so good you won't believe it.
Oh, Hadley, it is so good you won't believe it.
C&E Doors is offering steel on both sides 9x7 white doors for the same price as vinyl backliner doors. Call today.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Tide Animal Medical Center. In the month of May, we are going to focus on nutrition as a whole with our dogs and cats. And what we're trying to do is help you figure out what foods are good and what foods are bad. Please pay attention to our Facebook page. Also keep in mind we do carry Science Diet food here, which is one of the top quality dog foods on the planet. Science Diet dog food at a cheaper price than anybody around, including Chewy. So come on in. Please call and ask with any other questions, large or small. We take care of them all.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on a Friday. Mike Corson back in studio, our KVGB track and field insider. I always like it when you come in, you tell stories from your war days at the state track meet, which I've always said is the longest 2 days in sports. We would go there on Friday. We'd always play golf on Thursday. We'd always go down to Pratt, and we would have the bed challenge. It was Gerard Welbrock, Mike Marzoff, and myself. And we would play 18 holes of golf, and the winner slept alone. The other two dudes had to share a bed. At the other two dudes, yeah, they had to share a bed at the hotel.
I don't know what that is, incentive.
It was
play the best round of golf.
There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot. I mean, it was high stakes.
I don't know, but Marzoff always Little Spoon. You have a bad day, Little Spoon, Mike.
So then you go and then you'd have to get done on Thursday, and then you'd go down, and then it was always Stephanie's birthday, so we had a birthday party. And then we would go to Wichita and check into the motel because we knew who was sleeping alone. And then the next day we would get up and go to the state track meet. Saturday mornings, sometimes it was a little bit rough on Saturday mornings after a Friday night getting back to the motel. And you would sit on the west side of Cessna Stadium in that press box, and the sun would come up, and it would just blister down. And, of course, usually by then the air conditioner had quit working in the press box by that time.
Yeah, one bathroom door, no locks, unisex.
Yes. Oh,
no air conditioning.
No air conditioning. It stunk. Everyone else in that press box stunk.
So the last, 2-3 years, they've moved it inside Coke Arena. Air conditioning, space, cool, clean bathrooms.
And then, of course, the elevator would break. That was usually once. They finally went to the pulley system when they had two aux out there in the parking lot, and they would just move the aux forward to bring the elevator up, and then they would back the aux up to bring the elevator down. It was at least it worked.
I was always in a hurry, so I always can't you guys at least put another aux out there? gotta get places.
Oh, all right. So KVGB Track and Field Insider Mike Corson with us. So we have a new national high school shot put record at 73 feet, 6 inches. And from the size of this cat, why isn't he throwing 80 feet?
I was going to look at the Olympics, but I was in short time, and because I did see Ryan Krauser, who is the world record holder, but I don't know if he uses a different size shot at the professional level.
Oh, yeah.
So he's still up there at his age. But so this is actually not Kansas, it's Missouri, but this kid was at the KU Relays a couple weeks ago. Jam and Jason Lamb put my attention on him. He was there last year, didn't see him, so now I'm regretting it. So he's 6'8", 330. He's from Nixon, Missouri. Jackson Cantwell. And if you're just talking about NIL with Bill Faflick, is this kid first in line? He's number 3 overall prospect for football in the nation at that size.
Really?
So what does 73.6 mean? I don't know. I'm going to throw a shot put. One kid in Kansas history has thrown it over 70 feet. That was Leavenworth's William Morrison, 2015, just barely over 70 feet.
We hardly ever have anybody over 60.
Yeah, last year nobody over 60. Of course, Aquinas being 5A, they had a good thrower last year, button up against it. So he's over 60 feet this year, but not so far. And then just to put it into perspective, the Everett Roy's taking pictures together at State Track, says at State Track when they hit the railroad tie, it sounds like a gunshot going off. Coulter Oldham was at Great Bend. He's a Lakin kid. Was at Great Bend last year. I'm guessing it was in the mid-50s. He bounced it out of the Great Bend pit. How do I know that? Why do I remember that?
You almost got hit in the ankle?
All my camera stuff was on the ground when that thing came over. And there goes that. So I don't know if 73 feet would come straight out, but it would be off. It would be frighteningly close.
Okay, on to some other results. Marley Biddle's fast, and she picked up 4 golds Tuesday at the Bill Kimball Invitational in Hoisington.
Yeah, not an overly warm day, a little bit of wind, so didn't see the times popping as they have sometimes this year, but I didn't have her in my 400 ranking, so she's the state runner-up on the 100, won that one. She got 6th place in the 200, and I talked to her afterwards, and that's her big focus this year. She got 6th last year. I think she's ranked number 3 in Class 3A. And then jumped up into the rankings, the top 16 in the 400, and then she's also Hoisington's 4x1, jumped quite a few spots up to about the number 7 area in Class 3A. They've been, even though you're using completely different girls, they've got their system down, so Hoisington's been a powerhouse in the 4x1.
Briar Thompson almost got 4 golds.
Yeah, for whatever reason, didn't win the 200, but won the 1 and the 4 and the 4x1. And we talked about him a couple weeks ago because it was a hot day. I believe it was windy. He popped some crazy sub-11 time. No, he ran under 11 seconds Tuesday. So now he is a bona fide, I think that it's a little bit top-heavy in 3A, but definitely a bona fide medal contender in Class 3A in multiple sprints.
What's the top time in the 100 this year in the state?
In the state, it's 10:23 out of Capon, but that would have been heavily wind-aided, and that's your 3-time state champion last year, the Guthridge kid. That he set in records places that he destroyed the field in the 400 at the KU relays. So 10:23, I mean, he's probably the fastest kid in the state, but probably not 10:23. We'll see.
Fun conversation with Lyles Lashley. They always are, right? I mean, but he was talking about jumping at Buhler, and I asked him, well, what's a fast track? Well, what's a not so performing long jump pit? And he described, well, with a lot of people right there and trees around, and there, but he's been surpassed for the state lead in the triple jump.
Yeah, Cooper Omont came in at 46.3, and there had been some contention there at 46.2, but he came right out the next week and went 46.3. So last week, Sedgwick's Noah Little, he's the defending 2A champ. He went 46.5. So now he's the all-class leader. We'll see what Cooper does today, but probably won't ever see these two going head-to-head, so you can kind of compare last year's state numbers. Noah Little went 45.11.5, and Cooper went massive at 47.3 last year at state. So Cooper has been consistently over 46, and this kid is just this was a nice little leap for him, even though
maybe his wind out.
Yeah. So we'll see. Head-to-head, I'd still take Cooper.
Great Bend had a huge meet at Seaman today. I mean, huge as in many teams.
I don't know when this thing's going to end. So, yeah, I didn't count them because who has time for that, but it's probably at least 31 teams. 31 teams.
31.
And you're talking big houses. Bishop Carroll's traveling all the way. Frankly, we're tired of seeing Bishop Carroll because they got really good again. The best hurlers in the state. We got Topeka Seaman there, and Salina Central, so you're going to see another rematch probably between Ryan Miller and Caitlin Roop. Miller's continuing to get stronger, knocked several seconds off one of her distance events last week.
How about Caitlin Roop? You thought you were the king of the hill, and then all of a sudden this Miller comes along.
And even her teammate, Roop, is actually behind Miller and her sophomore teammate, Kaylee Schultz, in the 1600. And Schultz is up there in the 800, and Miller's just crushing it. I think Miller leads 5A in the 400 as well. Absolute stud sprinter she's becoming. But yeah, Caitlin, she's more that slight physique. Just doesn't have the speed and the power to power through those 4s and 8s. But Miller, she does. She's got some muscle on her, and her kick is outstanding.
What are some other things from this week?
I am hoping to get out to the MIAA championships in Emporia. So Caden Esfeld, I don't think I'll get to see him run, but these are a lot of Kansas kids. Pitt State is who I would like to go see. I haven't got to see him. I don't know that Hunter Jones is still going, but Bell from Smoky Valley is one of the leading, was I think the number 2 pole vaulter all time in Kansas and was a 4-time state champion one year. So it was one of my favorite kids to see. So I'm hoping to get to see her and several of the Kansas kids that have gone to the next level. But where else do you get to watch Division II track unless you go to a meet?
Okay, let's see. Taven Stroop still hanging around top times in the 32?
So I was checking on some other stuff too, because you just never know what event's going to be good in the classification any given year. I set cut lines so I don't have to overwrite my data. So Class 1A girls javelin, say 97 feet. Class 6A, 102 feet. Usually fills up pretty easy. To get into number 16 right now at 3A, it's 117.7. 2A is like 110 feet. So my cut line for 6A, I had to lower it to 100 feet. Still not full of 16 girls. So for whatever reason, 6A girls javelin is just totally down this year. Normally I would expect it to be up in 115, 120 just to make the top 16. So this year you're seeing kind of a similar thing with 5A boys distance events. So Taven broke 10 minutes a couple weeks ago. He was hanging out there at 9:59-ish. Got it down to 9:55 last week in Buhler. He's at number 16, and there's really only 2, 3, 4 kids behind him. So, and I don't chart the kids that run over 10 minutes anymore, but usually we have quite a list by now of kids who have broke 10 minutes.
Okay.
We were just talking to Bill Faflick. One of the biggest changes we're going to see this spring is this, forever it's been the top 4 kids at regionals are going to state regardless. So you end up with some pretty slow kids at state sometimes because they're the weak regionals. Great Bend Regional will not be one of those regionals, but you're also going to have the rule change where only the top 3 advance and then the next 4 at-large times. So it's going to be crucial. We got a kid, Hernan Rodriguez. He's hanging out about number 17, 18 in Class 5A in the 300-meter hurdles. He's about number 5 in the regional. But 2 of the regionals are completely, utterly weak. So this is one where we know 3 kids are going to go out of those regionals, but of the 4 at-large spots, Hernan's right there in the mix. If he runs well, he could still get into state where this wouldn't have been possible last year.
When they came out with that, that was before pre-internet time. You sitting and trying to make your sheets up for the state track meet that I was talking about before that you covered because it made it so much. You had everything. But then they came out, we're going to have these extra times. There was no internet to get that stuff off. You have to go buy every newspaper in the state and hope they had the results in there and then compare. It was a nightmare.
That's what I'm going to be curious about. It's always, okay, if I know if I'm in the 4th spot, I'm into state. So if you know you're in a fast crowd and you're 4th, probably you think you're going. But what if you're back a distance? What is the time frame? Do you have to go back, check your phone and see if there's live results from the other 4? I wonder what the timetable is going to be on this, and I would love to talk to some of those 4th place kids and see what the drama is like. Are you going to be heartbroken or sweet, going to state?
Just finish in the top 3. It's easy.
That's some places.
But if it's not, that's the hand you are dealt. But you're moving toward that, aren't you? You're going to say it's not fair.
No, if you look at Great Bend, you got Bishop, Carroll, Salina, Central. It's locked down in the top 3. But that doesn't mean the 4th place girl won't get 4th place at state.
She can step up. She can step up. Mikey, thank you. That's Sports Day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy a wonderful day tomorrow. Talk to you on Monday.